Hello and welcome to Easy Like a Sunday Morn. I'm your host, Shane Lockwood, and today is the 28th of December 2014, and this is episode 39. I'd like to wish everybody who's listening a happy new year, and I hope that you had a fantastic Christmas. I would have wished you Merry Christmas last week. However, I didn't do a show last week, and there was a multitude of reasons for that, one of which was copyrighted music being blasted through the wall next door, and computer trouble, and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. I haven't fixed my computer yet. That'll cost a few dollars, but what I did do was get some cotton buds and just cleaned out the CPU fan and stuff like that. But anyway, on today's show, I do need to apologise for last week, and thank you for all those who tuned in to the show from a couple of weeks ago, hoping to find a new episode. So that's great that there are loyal listeners willing to tune in each and every week. And I want to say thank you to those who are listening to this show on iHeartRadio. It comes up in the Spreaker stats. And all those listening through SoundCloud. I checked SoundCloud, and apparently there were a whole heap of people listening to my older episodes on SoundCloud. But I had neglected SoundCloud because I didn't think anybody was listening over there. So thank you for correcting me there. What did you get for Christmas? The season is about giving, and I'll get to giving later, but I will talk about what I got. And I got a copy of the movie Dredd, the new Judge Dredd movie. I didn't see that in the cinema. It was only in the cinemas for a couple of weeks, but it was really, really good, and I saw that the other day. I got Minecraft for the Xbox 360, and I've played Minecraft before, and it's basically like a 3D Lego kind of thing, but you can interact with objects, and it's like a survival game and stuff like that. So I wanted to run it on the Xbox because the computers that I've got are not very up to scratch when it comes to playing games and things like that. So heading into the new year, I will be looking at like upgrading a computer to be able to do some of the cool stuff that I want to do. What else did I get? There's a TV series called Utopia, starring Rob Sitch, and the team, they're an Australian comedy team. I can't remember the name of the company, but Rob Sitch and Mick Malloy, Tony Martin, and all those sort of people, Glenn Robbins, major name like comedians and things like that, who have done like a series of TV shows. This one is to do with the Office of Nation Building. It's it's like a fictional office, but it's satire, so you know that they're poking fun at what's going on politically. They did another one called Hollow Men, which was about the media, and I can't remember the other show. Frontline was about the a current affairs programming and the behind the scenes of it all, and what goes into the stories and things that we actually see on TV, like the behind the scenes stuff, what actually gets filtered out and whatnot, and the reasons why. Usual cologne, and got some scratchy tickets. You can buy scratchy tickets, lottery tickets that you scratch off and stuff. You can buy like these $25 Christmas packs where you can get countless scratchy tickets, right? So I ended up winning like a free scratchy ticket, and another one had like $2 on it. And I got a lottery ticket for the big draw on January 13. Now, I'm not a gambler. I do not condone or endorse buying of lottery tickets or anything like that. I don't think it's statistically geared against you, so that you'd probably be better off just saving up your money and not bothering. But you can't tell people, so I'm grateful, for like at least a couple of dollars. And what else? Speaking of games that I want to upgrade my computer for, let's see, Elite Dangerous is a space game that came out when? The 16th of December, and I definitely will have to upgrade my computer to be able to run that at all. That's brilliant. I'm a big fan of the Elite series. Elite was one of the first games, space games, on the Spectrum, I think, and then later on other platforms, I think. And I've seen gameplay footage of it going from multiplayer to single player very seamlessly, and I'm really, really impressed. I'm not really interested in playing it multiplayer, but I'd be looking forward to playing that. It'd be great. I've been playing a lot of a game called RimWorld. That's RimWorld, and it's currently in alpha, which means that it's nowhere near ready for release. But alpha, you've got different stages. You've got alpha, beta, and gamma. And traditionally, game companies would do their own testing of the program. But what happens after that, later on, is that once the software is up and running to the way they want it, but they just want to get rid of the last few bugs and things before launch, they do a beta test. And that's where they open it up to you, the game-playing audience, and you play the game and you report on any bugs and technical issues and things that won't run on your computer, or you get to level 57 and you've just killed the orc, but to get the key that you need to finish the game, but the orc didn't have the key on him, and stuff like that. So that's like a beta test. An alpha test is basically a lot further back in the game's development, where the game is basically open enough where you can direct where the direction of the game will go. You can influence where the game goes and what features will get included, which ones will get left out, and things like that. There's another game that I'm really looking forward to, is called Star Command Galaxies, and that's also in alpha, but that's very, very limited. They've only just started their alpha, and apparently it doesn't work on 32-bit machines, which means that if you're running XP or operating systems around that age, it won't run on your computer. But hopefully that'll be a priority, or they'll get that fixed, because I'd want to jump in on that. And yes, but I'm not ready to do that just yet. I want to say thank you to Susan Lilly for following me on Twitter and YouTube after I went to her album launch a few months ago. And what did you give for Christmas? What I did was I sent out several Christmas cards, because I put a little notice on Facebook and said, look, does anybody want a Christmas card? And a handful of people said, yes, send me one. And when I sent them, not everybody got them before Christmas. Some got a little bit after, and a few people haven't replied back to say, hey Shane, I got your Christmas card. But that's only a matter of time, because we're dealing with European countries, delivery to United States and Canada and those sorts of things. But most of everybody got the cards, which was great, and I got most of the feedback saying that they enjoyed it. Some people were actually quite surprised. Like, they asked for something and they were surprised that I actually went ahead and sent them a Christmas card. But I'm a nice guy, and the address to write to me if you want a postcard, letter, Christmas card next year is in the description box down below. checks money orders, etc., etc. Can go there too. What else did I send? I sent to a fan of a TV show called Red Dwarf. I sent a whole heap of autographs. I sent an autographed book and a whole heap of autographed, signed and personalised 8x10 photos of the principal cast, and she was wrapped with that. But the problem is I sent it in 2 parcels, because I sent like DVDs of the convention footage, and what had happened was she's only got like 1 out of the 2 parcels, and she doesn't have the Christmas card yet. So, but that's the Canadian Postal Service for you, which I am grateful, guys. I am really, really grateful that they do provide the service, especially with the heavy snows and things that they get up there. But I just can't wait for the other package, because the other package was the important one. It was just, that's the one I'm looking forward to. And I think I sent some comics to do with the TV show Firefly, which is set. The comics are set after the movie Serenity. For those of you who had been following, or who had no idea what Firefly was, it was a science fiction cowboy. Basically, it was like a cowboy western thing set in space. And it only ran for 1 season because the network sort of messed it around and whatnot. But the fans rallied and said, no, we really love these characters, we want more. And they went ahead and crowdfunded a movie called Serenity. And I didn't send the DVD of the movie over to Canada because I couldn't find it here. It sold out, and I just couldn't get another version of it. But I sent the comics are set after the movie Serenity, so I sent that. Let's see. Oh, and I did get a letter and a card back from Agnes in Canada, and a card from Katie Upspa in New Brunswick. So thank you very much. And I want to say thank you to the Greek listeners, the people listening to this program in Greece. I do keep a record of like who listens to the show and where, because I know that the mainstream audience is going to be the USA, Canada, Australia, and the UK. And so because it's an English-speaking podcast, those are English-speaking countries. So when the podcast deviates from the norm and goes to other places like Greece or Sweden or wherever, and I know that it has, then I'm grateful for that, and I just do acknowledge those people as well. Heard from a few friends that I hadn't heard from in months, because they're like brand new parents, so they've got to look after their kids and stuff like that. Got an email from someone I've been in contact from for the last 10 years or so, and it's good to be actually send them an email and finally be able to thank them in person and direct whenever I want to, rather than having to wait through postage and stuff like that. So let's see, that's 1 page of notes. Wow. This year I'm not going to bother with New Year's resolutions. What I'm going to do instead is just write a list of maintenance, things that I need to do, things that I want to do, things that I have to do. Well, not really have to do, but actually, yeah, there's things I have to do. And tidy up this place, tidy up the backyard, get all that all ship shape, and prune the tree root that has grown into a bush out the back. I've done it once before, but that's another story. And let's see, I've got a little bit of science news just to round things up a little bit. And in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, scientists, it's called the Mariana Trench. It's the deepest part on the planet Earth, of the ocean, that is. It's just off of Guam, the island of Guam, and there's a 1,500-mile trench, and it goes 7 miles deep. So it is long way away from sunlight, warmth, etc. It is cold. Not obviously not as cold as ice, but it is icy cold. What scientists have done is they sent probes down, like a series of probes, to the bottom, and some of them didn't survive the pressure. Like, the pressure is immense, 7 miles deep underwater, right? So there's no human way we can get down there. They've got to send probes and things, and these probes are the size of refrigerators, right? So these things are massive, right? And for something for that amount of pressure to crush one of these probes is intense. And one of the probes actually exploded and sent like a sonic shockwave around the cavern, the trench. But that's not the story. The story was that the probes that did survive and could film video and footage, take photos and things like that, had taken photos of the deepest living fish. And these fish are amazing. They've got not fins on the top of their bodies, but fins on the side. They look a bit like bat wings almost, but not as wide. Like, the bones are like thinner. Not thinner, but like closer together, I should say. And yeah, they found the deepest living fish. So there is life everywhere on this planet. It's just completely abundant everywhere. Life will find a way to exist pretty much anywhere where the conditions are right. And throughout the universe, the conditions are not always right. They found methane on Mars, short bursts of methane, every now, like sporadic bursts of methane from one of the rovers that they've got there. But they're drilling into rock and doing different experiments and things like that. But a lot of that would be caused by microbial life at best. Mars is still very inhospitable to human life. And get this, early life on Earth was bacterial, right? And microbial, etc. But some of these microbes and bacteria and things produced oxygen as a byproduct, as a waste product. Because oxygen is actually quite toxic to most things. When you burn something, you are oxygenating it. You are giving it oxygen, right? And that's why, these alien movies like The Thing and Aliens and stuff like that, they burn the aliens, the bodies and stuff like that, because it's the fastest way of disinfecting something. It kills bacteria, basically, because you're adding oxygen. But a few of these early bacteria and proteins and things thrived in the oxygen-rich atmosphere and eventually became RNA, and then eventually became DNA, and then eventually became, billions of years later became us. But wow, amazing stuff. But that's science for you. Speaking of aliens, there was a couple of references to the movie Aliens in the Doctor Who Christmas special, and I wasn't very pleased with that because, one, it's implying that the Alien franchise is fictional within the Doctor Who universe, and it's sort of like, it's considered bad form if you cross-contaminate your sci-fi genres. I think you can have crossovers, but you wouldn't say that one of them was fake over the other, or that's not real or whatever. I think it's just bad form. But yeah, I haven't been really pleased with this season of Doctor Who at all. And I know people listening to this who are big fans, and I know people who are not fans, and I know people who would like to be fans, but they've never seen an episode, but they're not really interested in watching the show, but they're interested in hearing me talk about it. But I thought that Nick Frost did a fantastic job playing the role of Santa Claus, and yeah, I think everybody did a fantastic job in the show as it was presented. The storyline follows basically Inception, the idea of dreams within a dream within a dream. It's been done before on Doctor Who, and I actually did like the movie Inception. A lot of people didn't. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Speaking of which, I haven't even thought of a code word, for those of you who don't know, I put a code word at the end of the show so that I know that some people have been listening to the show for the whole thing, for 30 whole minutes, rather than listening for 2 minutes and saying, oh yeah, I love your show, watch your show, listen to the show, it's fantastic, oh it's incredible, but then they don't use the code word, or they don't, or I go through the stats and you can tell that they've basically listened for a minute and then basically said, oh, I've had enough of this, and tuned out. And I know exactly who does it, and who no longer listens, etc., etc. But you get that. You get that in everything you do, so the onus is on me, rather than to push the show in terms of advertising, in terms of trying to get people to listen to the show. I have to focus on being better and trying to find stuff that you guys will find relevant. A lot of the science stuff is readily available if you go to Stitcher.com, and if you're listening to podcasts, I think npr.org has like a daily science thing. You got your 2 minutes in science. You've got like a weekly, like the Friday Science podcast. You've got Star Talk Radio with Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about either evolution or what's going on basically in the universe. Looking at the stars and things like that. They'll have like Bill Nye, the science guy, as like a guest on there, talking about this, that, and the other. But yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody who's listened so far, and those who tune in each and every week. I know that not everybody listens to each and every show, and there's no guilt. The idea of this show is for you to have a time out. It's for you to relax. It's a Sunday morning. Just relax. Well, it's Sunday morning somewhere in the world. And just relax. The chores you've got to do for Sunday afternoon, they can wait. The diet that you're going to go on Monday morning, that can wait. So just go easy on yourself. Have a bit of, a few eggs and bacon and stuff like that. Not that I'm condoning, meat or dairy or anything that harms animals or whatever. But just sit back, relax a bit, maybe plan out your week, maybe try and think of a list of things that you want to do and achieve for the upcoming year. And some people don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I find them hindering. I find that I've usually broken them within the first week, within the first day. So you're trying to say things like, I want to give up chocolate, or I don't want to drink alcohol, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. Look, those things are too hard. It's easier just to cut back, rather than, not even cut back, just to be aware of what you're doing when you're doing it, How does eating too much chocolate affect you? How does, and why are you addicted to it? How does smoking affect you? How does drinking affect you? These things can be given up if you, rather than fighting against, the addiction, you just and then you get into a guilt cycle, because you fail, and then you beat yourself up, and then you get addicted to the guilt. So you get into this quitting cycle of quitting, failing, being guilty, beating yourself up, and then doing it all over again. So we want to relax, we want to chill, we just want to take things easy like a Sunday morn. And you can listen to this podcast any day of the week, it does not matter. I've found through Stitcher that a lot of people were listening to this on a Friday night. But that's in America, so that would have been Saturday morning my time. And you think, well, why is this? It's just one of the mysteries of life. And you shouldn't be constrained in when you listen to this. I know there's people that are behind and they listen to this in a serial fashion. And and Serial is the name of a podcast that did go viral, but I don't trust these things that call themselves viral when in fact they've spent millions of dollars on marketing and things like that. But Serial is a podcast about a murder trial, and they're telling the story, week after week after week sort of thing, of a certain murder trial that they find interesting, and they hope that people will tune in and listen to. But I listened to 5 minutes of one episode, and I mean, no, I'm not putting up with this. So I don't know why these things are popular. Also, I don't know about you, but I don't like the hard sell. I don't like people trying to be, bigger or better than what they actually are. Trying to sell you on how to be an entrepreneur. Look, you've got a certain skill set, and there are things you're good at, and there's things you're not good at, and things that you will never, ever achieve. And that's hard. And I don't think that you shouldn't strive for some of those goals. But I think there's a time when these things have to be broken down into achievable steps. I don't think any of us is going to be inheriting multi-million-dollar mansions. And if you did inherit a multi-million-dollar mansion, what would you do with it? And would you have to try and sell it off? Who'd look after the gardens and things like that? Who'd look after it? Who'd maintain it? Who'd clean the swimming pool? You've just got this asset, and then you have to start paying taxes on it. So sometimes these dreams and things are not what they appear to be. I think it was Jim Carrey who was selling a $5 million mansion, overlooking. It wasn't really even a mansion; it was like a beach house, and it was overlooking the sea and stuff. It was very relaxing and whatnot. But even he was unhappy with it. Anyway, I've come up to 29 minutes. I've rabbited on, but it's been a while, and I've missed you guys. And the code word for today is the word Chrome. It's CHROME, Chrome. And I will catch up with you next week. Please use the code word if you can, using whichever medium you're listening this to. The contact details should be in the show notes. You can probably tweet me at SHAIDO if you are listening to this on a podcast where you can't actually use the code word. Just send me a tweet. Let me know you're listening. Please click like. I know there are people that use the code word, leave comments, but they don't click like. That's more important than the code word. Support the show, please. Anyway, that's all from me. I do hope that you did have a great Christmas. Let me know what you gave people, or if it was not a secret. I hope that you have a fantastic new year. And please go easy on the alcohol. Watch yourself when you're on the roads. I want to see you on the other end of the holiday. Anyway, that's it all from me. Look after yourselves and take today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week easy like a Sunday morn.